one partner didn't show up the day to film, you know, and that same partner didn't write the problem. And so sometimes I hear, you know, and I can see that one person didn't participate at all. So you need to make sure if you're in that group that you participate. But not every person has to be in the video. You know, one person can be in the video and the other people can be, you know, in the background. It's okay.
So for the 2y equals x plus 2, do you just like divide the 2?
Yes. Yes.
That's what I
So
thought.
what makes these problems more challenging than what we've done before is that not every equation is in the right form to graph. So to graph, we like y equals mx plus b. So we like to have y alone. So these three problems, these are the last three graphing problems I'm going to do with you. I'm going to move on to a new topic now. These three problems are the most difficult because they have to be rewritten before you can start graphing. So let's do number one. Okay, I can go ahead and graph this one. I'll start at 1 and I'll go up 3 over 2. If you have room on graph paper, that would be best. Four. Okay, so there's the first line. So the second line has to be rewritten. I did the problems yesterday for homework, but I gave you those answers before you left. Hopefully you took advantage of that. So now in order to get y alone here, I divide everything by 2. I divide this and this whole side over here by 2. No x over 2. So they're both divided. Can you guys see this color?
Yeah, I can see it. Oh, I'm not in the back.
Okay, so that's actually x over 2 is the same as 1 half x. And then 6 over 2 is 3. So this is the line that I want you to graph. You have to do all this math just to get it set up. So now I can see, to make my line, I'm going to begin at 3. And then I'm going to move up 1 over 2. 1, 2, 3. I began at 4. 1, 2, 3. Up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Up 1. I'm so glad my lines crossed in such a nice place here on the whiteboard. I was a little bit nervous without grid lines. It doesn't always work. So it looks like our solution is 3, 4. Did anybody do it on graph paper and they can verify it's 3, 4? Is it 2? 2, 4. Just when I was confident about my whiteboard graph. I'm gonna walk around. Alright, so we're not done. and I want to match the fancy terms to this. So one exact solution, does anybody remember, is that called inconsistent, consistent independent, or consistent dependent? Anybody remember at all?
I wrote it down.
Yeah, this would be, the terminology here is letter B. I'm going to write this for you again. You should write it as well. If it has one solution, if the lines actually cross, you need to know this. The fancy terminology is consistent, independent, yeah. So I'm gonna review this with you, but you have a quiz not before break, but after break. So
Like Monday after?
no. We'll do good review. It'll probably be like Wednesday or Thursday when we return.
Goodness.
Yes, I'm sorry. I keep thinking it's
She's
gonna
got that
clear
cold
up.
going.
It's gonna clear up, but it's not.
So nasty.
Okay.
No, I'm saying it's a nasty cold. Jesus.
All right, let's get to work on number 2.
It's just violent.
Well, there's obviously a problem with number 2.
X equals 7 equals 3 x. Y equals 7.
How, dude?
I think the first one's the Y. Shut up.
Gee. Oh, that's a big fly in my day.
I'm not a fly. You idiot.
What is that?
Idiot, bro.
Get up.
Okay, thank God.
So I need to get y alone. So that we're looking at slope intercept for it. Yeah, we'll just minus 7 to the other side. So for this graph, I would start down at -7, go down 3 over 1. Wow. Okay, and then I will graph the second equation. And the second equation is -3x minus 7. And now I see that actually both lines are exactly the same. They happen to be the same equation, and you don't recognize it if they're not both given the same way. But once I rewrote the first one, I see, wait a minute, these are the same line. So, if you want, you can show, that you've graphed them both. You can go over it with, pen or highlighter. I got a red and a blue line here.
So it should just be.
No, it's code C. So my point of this is to review this vocab with you. Jake, put your device in it. So what's C called? See, so when it's the same line, it's called consistent dependent. Would you say that this has one solution? Do they cross in one place? They cross forever together. So you could also say that there are infinite solutions. So knowing the words that describe this scenario is really important. Knowing the vocab. Okay, so our last one, number 3. All right. Are we ready for number 3? Or am I going too fast?
Oh, yes, ma'am, we are.
I'm gonna put it on the screen. I'm gonna do number 3 on the screen. So I'll start at -3 and I'll go up 4 over 1. And that's line number 1. Now line 2 must be rewritten. You have to get y alone. Libby, what would you do to get y alone?
I don't really know that.
Jack
Here's
4x.
y. What's over there next to y?
4x.
4. Oh, you would add 4 to both
Yeah,
sides.
it's negative, so you add it. So I'm gonna plus 4x and I'm gonna plus 4x. Alright, so the actual equation that we're graphing for line 2 is 4x plus 1. This is starting to seem like a lot of work. Does anybody think that there's probably a better way to do this than graphing?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess just don't graph them. That's the best way.
We are today going to show how to find the place where 2 lines cross without graphing them. Because this is taking a long time. I mean, just to solve 3 problems is taking up most of my board. I'm having to rewrite equations. I got all this graph paper.
I mean, it's not terrible.
There's a quicker way.
You plug in X values.
I mean, you could guess and check, but that might take you a really long time.
Ooh, those are parallel lines.
Those are parallel, turns out. So the reason they're parallel is because when they're rewritten, they have the same slope. So this has a slope of up 4 over 1, and then my correctly written line 2 has a slope of up 4 over 1. Every time the slope's the same, it's parallel. So parallel lines are called inconsistent. The fancy terminology is inconsistent, and the regular terminology would just be to say that they have no solution, because they are not going to cross. Train tracks are not supposed to cross. The train would crash. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
you do.
Well, different sets of train tracks cross, but one, the left and the right, never cross. So, yeah, these are your three possibilities when you graph. Perhaps it's like number one and it crosses in exactly one place. Perhaps they turn out to be the same line, or perhaps they're parallel and they'll never cross ever. Okay, get out your workbook, page 73.
Hey Jake, you do the homework?
No. Why would you even ask me that?
I gave you the equations,
Oh,
but you have to graph them.
I guess I didn't do
Why would I give you answers? Silly.
Yeah, I don't know.
What I did was I got y alone for you.
Oh.
I couldn't figure out 9.
So pretty much ready.
Yeah. I didn't feel like you were ready for all those.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out 9.
Where are the 2 lines?
Was it just 5 to 10?
Yeah, I didn't. I did. Yeah, you got 2 lines. We've been doing 2 lines. I just don't understand.
God, I got the second one way wrong. Every problem wrong except one.
Because you have 2 different equations. That's why I came up till third.
You got 1 right? That's 2 wrong. Oh my god, I got 7 way wrong. I got 8 way wrong. Yeah, Miss Baldwin, we're gonna have to go over this. All of them? Yeah, I got all of them. Okay, actually, we're gonna need 6, 7, 9. I couldn't even figure out.
Did you rewrite the equations like I did?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. It's in the video if you want to check out the video. Week 6. So this line in 6, x equals 1, the highlighter kind of stings. Can you see that it's highlighted? How about that? Alright, the line x equals 1 is right here. It's an undefined line, up and down. You go where x is 1 and you go up and down. Now the other line I rewrote for you is y equals negative 2x plus 4.
Yeah, no, my dog.
Careful. So the other line you would start at 4 and go down 2 over 1, and you see they cross right there on that purple dot. What did you do?
Oh, that's what she does.
I can't figure out 9. So if you did this, Miss Baldwin, if you did this right here, so would that you divide by 3 and would that be 3 over 3?
You're asking about getting the bottom equation alone?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got I'll subtract x from both sides. I got negative 3y equals negative x minus 3. And then I'm going to divide by negative 3. And I get y equals negative x over negative 3 plus negative 3 over negative 3. I'll put a plus in there to understand those signs a little bit. So that's positive 1/3 x plus 1. Yeah, that's pretty confusing. That's why I rewrote it.
That is confusing.
Yeah, I didn't do it. I don't know how I thought that was the answer.
I don't know. I was going through my
I don't think she'd just give us the answers.
So yeah, this is actually a really good example of this is getting complicated, right?
Way too complicated.
Like this is complicated. Like having to do, I did it for you. That's how complicated it was. I was like, you know what, this is gonna be a stopper. So I rewrote this so that it was easy to graph, right? So for that reason, there's actually a way easier mathematic way of solving this system of coming up with this answer without having to graph. And I'm going to show you that right now. Okay. So if you don't have any more questions on this, you're going to take some notes on how to solve without graphing. Big day. I think you're going to like this.
Hopefully.
Supposed to be easier. Rumor has it this is even easier than graphing.
Easier than graphing?
Rumor has it. Well, graphing when the equation's not set up correctly. I think graphing when it's already in y equals mx plus b is like great. But if you have to rearrange the equation just to graph, that's not ideal. Okay, so let me go ahead and give you a heading. We're jumping to chapter 6-3. We're not solving by graphing, we're solving by a method called elimination. And these are the steps. So step 1 is to write the system so that like terms with the same or opposite coefficients are aligned. So this today, step 1 will be done for you. We're going to start basic and then work to the more complicated ones. Step 2 is to add or subtract equations, eliminating a variable, and then solve. And then step 3 is to substitute. I'd like for you guys to try to write these in your own words, try to shorthand it. Write yourself some steps using less words than what you see here.
Wait, what does it mean when they're aligned?
Okay, so here, this is an example of problem where it's not aligned. X is not aligned with X on below it. So by aligning, we mean set the equations up so that they are in the same product. So if I was to align this, I would put the X here and the Y here. So you reorder them so that like terms are matched up.
Okay.
Today, step 1's going to be done for you. We're going to give you the problem already aligned. You're going to do step 2. You're going to add or subtract, eliminating one variable. That's why it's called elimination.
Wait, what are we writing?
These 3 steps, I want you to read it. I don't want you to write it word for word. It's a lot of words. I want you to think about what they mean to you and try to write it in your own words. You don't have to write this last one, but what we're going to do is we're going to find where two lines cross without graphing. So some people love it. They get tired of graphing. They don't have graph paper. Their lines don't cross right. So we're going to find where they cross without having to graph. Total bonus. Who's missing from this row right now? No, of course.
Where is he?
Is there anybody missing from that first row?
Where is he?
That kid right there, right in front of her.
Yeah, who's that?
Joseph.
Oh, Joseph.
Who's Joseph? It's Joseph.
Answers for days. Answers for days. He's the one giving us answers. Yeah. He's the one that gives answers. Yeah, look around. Can't wait to.
I originally said, aren't you in my second period? I know you are.
What's his name?
Logan, right? Found out.
I call on him like twice a week.
Twice a week.
It's a lot. Some people I don't ever call on.
You call me like twice a week.
You volunteer like 15 times a day, which is great. No, you just look at it, think about it, and like get excited. Wow, we can find where they cross without graphing. That is. Gosh, we don't need graph paper. Okay. We don't need straight lines. Okay. Are you guys ready to try elimination? Yeah, people tell me. People tell me this is a repeat. All right, let's just see. Let's see for how many of you this is a repeat. Dun, 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 dun. Example one. So write the problem exactly like this. Write the problem stacked. So this is number one. Okay, I'm going to make a little note here. The equations are already aligned for you. So step one is done. The x is over x, y is over y, the constants over the constants. These equations, as a review, are in standard form. Would you want to graph these? No, you'd have to rearrange both of them to get y alone to make them nice for graphing. So this is not a good problem to graph. So step two is to add the equations down. So I'm going to do a plus sign here and a line. And I'm adding straight down like you learn to add, and sometimes you add straight down in elementary school, but sometimes they don't let you. All right, so I'm going to start with 12 plus 18. 30. Okay. I'm going to do 4y minus 6y. Negative 2y. I'm going to do negative 3x plus 3x.
0.
Boom, actually 0. The x has been eliminated. When we added down, the x's canceled, causing the x's to be eliminated. That's why this is called elimination. It cancels out one variable. So step two, You're going to solve the result. You know, you add down and then you solve the result. So I'm going to put like a line in here, get y alone. What do we do to get y alone? Divide by -2 on both sides. And I find that y is -15. Well, if we were to graph them, the y value of the point where they cross is -15. Great question. Don't forget to find x. Like, we're looking for a whole ordered pair. We need x comma y. We need the point at which these lines cross. So what we'll do is we'll plug in y to the top equation. It sounds like a lot of work now, but it really isn't. So y is -15. I'm going to take this top equation. I'm going to take the y out, and I'm going to put -15 in. And that's going to allow me to find x. So I got -3x. What's 60? Get your calculators. That's 60. I'm going to stop and let you finish solving for x. You're solving a multi-step equation.
First of all, fine, 4 times -15.
I got it. It's 44.
Oh,
Whose
stop.
side is -24?
Yeah.
How you
Shut up, Libby. Oh my god.
So I'll add 60 to both sides. I get -3x equals 72. It's the very top one in the problem. You can use either, actually. I'll always do the top just to be consistent. But you can pick which equation you like better.
Yeah, because they both have Y's.
Divide by -3. And x equals what? -24. So our solution is -24, comma -15. You could go through the grief of graphing them both and checking, or you can use Desmos. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's do what? You ignore those multiple choice. This is number 2. Ignore the multiple choice. Use the process. Add down. You're gonna be sold. Just wait. Just wait. It's only because you've only done one. You're gonna do this quickly.
Wait, so does the y's cancel out?
Yeah, this time the y's cancel out.
Totally.
So I get 5x. This time, y is eliminated. Equals 10. Yeah, this is a different problem. This is number 2. So this time, when you add down, the y's are eliminated. Solve for x, we would divide by 5. And we get x equals 2. Did you ever write the problem? Just document the problem and add it down. So just add 1 plus 9 is 10.
Can you do it like that?
And we're just adding down.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay, so 10.
Wait a minute. Oh, I see what you're doing.
I don't know.
Oh, I know what's new next. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be a fraction. Let's see. It's not a fraction. Okay. I plugged this into the top problem. So I'm using the top equation now. You can use the top or the bottom. Did you use the bottom? No. Go to the original problem.
So minus 6 on both sides, right? Yeah, I did. That's why my answer is right now.
So -5 equals -5.
Divided by -5 on both sides equals
Positive 1.
Oh,
Really
positive.
good. Really good.
Oh my god. Jesus
Dominic,
Christ. It's one.
Dominic,
It's
Dominic.
one.
Dumb.
So our
You just got that
solution
wrong.
is
Oh my
to
God.
column 1. Letter B. See a thumbs up if you're on board with this is easier than graphing.
It's like, it makes me good about it.
Alright. That was even that only being our second one, we did that quicker than we graphed, I'd say.
Maybe.
Alright, let's not get into that. Let's save that for another day. Alright, you guys, I'm gonna write your assignment on the board. You are gonna do it now. Okay, don't you pack up. Start right now. It's page 77, 2 through 16.
You don't want to find out what it's all about.
You should go on my therapy.
It's going to be a no-no type. Not going to.
Alright, there's your assignment. Write it down.
Tiny. You need to work out in stretch mode. I just like be at the mall. So they tell you at the mall. They have those actual massage. You are so very tight. You need to stretch mall. What's the paper? Huh?
She said not that way. Because how are you going to get the answer on this?
It's always dumb though.
Oh, it's even.
Just evens.
So busy.
Oh my goodness. Just even?
Hey, now.
9 kids.
We only did 2. All right, here we go. I'm gonna do this one right now.
Let's hope y'all didn't pack up yet.
1y plus 1y is 2y.
Good job, Tom. Get out of the way.
How's that? Is that okay?
I think that's fine.
Don't stop.
I forgot how to do the
You plug in 6 to the top.
It's not easy. It's fitting your work on this page, so please do it in your notebook.
5. I already did number 2. It's the answer to 2, 5, 6.
Oh. Yeah. No, it's 6.
Minus 7. I got 5. Why'd you subtract 7? Why'd you subtract 7?
I do that sometimes. I put the answer in. Like my brain already has the answer, and I put the answer in. It wasn't even the right answer.
So it was 5.
Combine 1 and 6 and that's it.
I'm so smart. Thank you. Tom.
Alright, people. So this is elimination. I'm gonna post some videos on Khan Academy.
What is Khan Academy? You never know Khan Academy? It was in the grade book. I was confused. Khan Academy's like.
I haven't told you guys about Khan
I
Academy.
used to pass here all. I used to all last year. Yeah, that's not a great favorite teacher. Bro, no, because I did it. And it was like, he taught more of like life lessons than that. It was like. What? He did, yeah. He would do like quotes every day. And we really do that.
There's like style.
This is the acceptable time to pack up, ladies and gentlemen. Not 5 minutes before.
You're standing right there.
Not playing.
What?